Hello, algebra students. We are going to do one more day on variables and both sides. We're not going to do it with pictures this time. We're going to do it with solving it algebraically like we did in 2.3 and 2.4. So let's look at this. So I've got to get rid of my parentheses by either distributing the front number, or remember, sometimes we can divide it off. You need to get rid of those parentheses first. Sometimes we need to simplify. Okay? Then I'm going to get all my variables on one side. Then I'm going to take care of my numbers, and they need to go on the opposite side that my variables did. And then I'm going to solve using inverse operations. So I have to clean things up in this before I can get going. So if I look at my first problem here, 2x plus 5 equals 4x plus 1. I want you to always focus on that, always focus on the smaller variable. Move it to the other one, okay? And we did that with the pictures as well. So I'm going to move that 2x. What did I do to do it with my pictures? I had to add negative 2x to both sides, cancel those out, and then look at what I had. Okay, so I add negative 2x. Remember, this is always an addition step here. It's just, is this a positive number or a negative number? Okay, so what happens? That zeroes out. I bring down my 5. 4x plus negative 2x is 2x plus 1. Fantastic. Okay, now what do I have to move? Now I have all my x's on one side, and I need to have my numbers on the other side. So my x is here. So this 1 has to go to this side because it's being added to my x. The 2 is being multiplied to my x. So I have to move my 1 first because of PEMDAS. Going up, remember. So I'm going to add a negative 1 to both sides. I'm going to get 2x on my right side, 4 on my left side, and I'm going to now get rid of my 2 because I don't want this x. I want this x to be by itself. So how am I going to get rid of that? Well, I have to ask myself, how is the 2 and the x attached to each other? They're attached to each other by multiplication. So instead, I have to divide. So I divide both sides by 2. This will make 1 on the right side. Don't flip these around. Don't throw your x onto the other side. If it's on the right side, keep it on the right side. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. Fantastic. Let's look at another example. Oh, ha! Look at that. I got to do my check. Make sure you do your checks, okay? Check your answer. All right. Let's look at another example now. Now, on this one, I have parentheses. In last section, or last week, when we were doing a lesson, we were able to divide this by 2. That's not going to work here because we're going to end up getting a fraction there. So in this instance, we definitely need to distribute. We need to do rainbows. So I want to do rainbows. I want to do it on both sides. I get 2x plus 6, make sure you don't put a 3 there, and 3x plus 3, okay? Now, I'm back at step 1 from the last problem. Which of these is smaller, 2x or 3x? Because I want to move my x's first. 2x is smaller than 3x, so I'm going to move my x's over to this side. What do I have to add to my 2x to cancel it, or to zero it out? I have to add negative 2x. My negative 2x's will zero out. I'll bring down my 6. I'll bring down my 3. And now I need to move this 3 to the other side. Okay? Because it's with the x, and I want x by itself. So what do I need to add to 3 to bring it to the other side? Negative 3. That will zero out. And then I'll do the math on the left side. 6 plus negative 3 is definitely positive 3. So x equals 3. Do your check. You put your 3 in for your x. 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 equals 6. Fantastic. Okay, next example. Separate your equation. Which of these is smaller? Is it my negative 2x or is it my 3x? My negative 2x or my 3x? I'm hoping you said negative 2x. You're going to move that over. I want you to do this on your own, and I want you to do a check. Bring that one done to class. Now this one's a little bit different because I've got a fraction out there. So I still need to distribute this in, and I need to distribute this in, but you have to think about what's going on here. So let's look at that. So when I distribute my 6 in, I'm going to get 30m, because 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18, okay? But now, when I'm doing 1/3, it's really like I'm dividing. So I'm really going to divide both of these by 3 instead. And so that looks like this. So 24 divided by 3 is 8m. 12 divided by 3 is 4. And now I'm back at the situation where I have to decide which of my m terms is smaller. Is 30m smaller or is 8m smaller? So in this instance, 8m is smaller, so I'm going to move my m's to this side, which is where you'd like to have them. I know, I'm sorry, I keep making them move to the uncomfortable side, but that's okay. A little uncomfort is good. All right, so what do I need to add to both sides to get my m's together? I'm hoping you said a negative m. That will zero this out. Then, oops, I didn't mean to erase that. I'm going to bring down my 4. Remember to bring it closer. I'm going to do the math here to get 22m minus 18. So now what do I have to move? Do I have to move my 22 or my negative 18? Negative 18 is the one that's being added or subtracted to them, so I have to move that first. To zero that out, I add positive 18 to both sides. Then I need to divide both sides by 22, and m is equal to 1. Do your check to make sure you get the right answer. I would plug it into this here, because this is already a simpler version of this first equation. And so plug it into that. They're the same thing, it's just simpler. Plug it into there and then do your check. And you should have got 4 equals 4. All right, next problem. Woo, I got a lot of things going on here. Separate your equation. What are you going to do first? What are you going to do first here? Follow those steps on the first part of your notes. Get rid of your parentheses. So distribute your 5 or your 3 in. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times negative 4 is 12. And then I've got this negative 10x out here. I bring that down. I bring down my 5x plus 5. And now I have to decide what to do here. Okay. This is simplified. This is not. What can I do on this side? What can I do on this side to make sure that I'm looking at the easiest equation? Well, these are on the same side, so I've got to combine those. When I combine those, I'm going to take 15x and I'm going to add a negative 10x. What do I get? I get 5x plus 5 on this side and 5x minus 12 on this side. All right, combine your x's. This is where it's super important to combine your x's first, or you'll be really confused. Okay? When you combine these x's, the x's need to come to whichever side you'd like. What are you going to get? What do you have to add to this 5x to zero it out? Hoping you said negative 5x, but look it happens on both sides. So you're still going to bring down what you have. Still going to bring down what you have. But you're going to get 5 equals negative 12. Is that true? No, it's not. So my answer here, I cross out my equal sign, and I say it's not equal. And my answer here is no solution. So this is super important. When I have an equation that the x terms zero out, my answer is no solution. If these are different. If they're the same number, then my answer is any solution. Okay? So, try this one. Oh, nope, we're not doing that one. We crossed that one off. Let's move on to the word problem. Gym Rats charges $20 a month plus a one-time fee of $5 for joining. Gym Junkies charges $15 a month and a one-time fee to $20 to join. Write an equation to solve for which month they cost the same. So I'm going to set both of these equal to each other. So what's happening in Gym Rats? What's happening in Gym Rats? I have to first write that situation down. So we've got $20 a month. So what's changing? A month. That's my X. Plus a one-time fee of $5. Gym Junkies charges $15 a month. Again, that's my X with a one-time fee of $10. And then I'm going to set those two things equal to each other. So that looks like this. $20 a month plus $5, $15 a month plus $10. Okay? Now, which do I have to move first? My 20M or my 15M? I'm hoping you said 15M. What do I have to add to 15M to zero it out? Negative 15M comes over here. I'm going to end up having how much on this side? Hoping you said 5M plus 5. Your 5 comes down. Your 10 comes down. Bring it over a little closer. 5M plus 5 equals 10. Now what do I have to do to solve the rest? What do I have to get rid of? This 5 or this 5? I'm hoping you said this 5. What am I going to add to that? A negative 5. Negative 5 to both sides. So my 5M is equal to 10 minus 5. 10 minus 5 is 5. 5M equals 5. How do I get my M by itself? Hoping you said divide by both sides. And therefore, M is going to be equal to 1 because these are going to cancel and these are going to cancel, and you're good. Check that answer, make sure it's right, and God bless.